In the halls of Mistgall, through Zalium doors and past Hatterite walls, beside rivers of molten metal and down steps of carven onium, from the rhythmic pounding of Lokven, the great forge of order. For millennia, order created and preserved life against the anvil, pulling the lost children of the void out from their slumber and back into their bastium husks. This, and only this, was how the Endo retained their immortality. Order was not the only one to work the forges, no. Many Endo ground their gears to dust inside the foundry, tirelessly hammering away to provide their craft to void-faring Endo. One of which, a unit named Stókka, was beloved by Order for his masterful ability to bend metal to his will. Not only could Stókka produce some of the most intricate devices, he was also rumored to be able to speak to the metal, weaving it to shapes and patterns which even the gods coveted. The beat and hiss of the forge were akin to the heartbeat of primitive man, and music to Stókka's ears. However, not everything stays brilliant in the realm of the gods, and the void eventually catches up to all of us. While Stókka hammered away crafting treasures for the gods, the forges around him began to grow cold and dark. Something sinister befell Lokven, choking out its red glow and smothering the warmth into a bitter cold. He looked up towards the great anvil, towards Order, searching for the reason of this madness, and found something that chilled him to his core. Order was dying. The hearth naught but flickering embers and a mountain of ash. Stókka had to do something, anything, to help restore the foundry, for without Order's grand gift, who else would be able to pull the Endo from the void and grant them their eternal life? Many Endo became awash in fear, running from Mistgall in a panic. This was the first time any Endo was actually scared for their own life, for death, for true, unwakeable death. This was not the way for Stókka, though. No. He ran to the grand bellows, and with both of his great arms he pushed them down with all of his might, blowing air into the hearth. But the embers only flickered. He then grasped onto coals and kindling, throwing them into the hearth as well, but the embers only choked and sputtered, receding more into their deathbed of ash. In a cry of desperation, Stókka shouted out to the sky, weeping for their impending doom, weeping for Order, weeping for the threat of true death. But in the sky, nestled between the stars, he saw something. He saw an idea. He saw hope. Around Eos sat 12 moons, one of which was named Firkald, and known to be a violently volcanic moon, flowing with rich rivers of magma, and abundant in every resource known to Endo. Stókka climbed to the very top of the forge, and braced his footing, casting himself into the cosmos towards Eos. He remembered, as he drifted through the stars, that Firkald had a nasty reputation, that the Endo believed to be home to a ruthless fire titan, who turned Endo to slag for fun. This did not scare Stókka, though, because he had a plan, and he knew that he would triumph, one way or another, over Firkald. He reached the moon and gripped onto its rocky islands, struggling to pry it from Eos's grasp, using all of his might to drag the Titan back to Lokven. But Firkald had other plans. Suddenly a voice lashed out at Stókka, erupting from its mountains and splitting its ground.
I am Firkald, son of Eos, grand titan of fire and hate. Who dares wake me from my slumber?
Our hero called back with resolve.
I am Stókka, son of Order, great smith to the Raven's treasures. Show yourself, fire titan.
The ground quaked again, erupting forth with waves of magma and scorching heat, as Firkald, the great titan of fire, rose from its depths.
Foolish Endo, have you come to add yourself to the grave of millions of your kind? I would enjoy melting you down to slag.
Firkald was a massive towering beast, one of the largest titans to exist, with teeth the size of mountain peaks and blood of boiling metal and stone. He could easily swallow Stókka, given the chance. No, Firkald, I have come for you and your ever-burning flame. No more will you melt Endo, but instead you will forge treasures for the gods. I am taking you back to Lokven, where you will light our forge for 1,000,000 years. Firkald laughed, bellowing smoke and steam from his cracks, and drew up a large wave of magma, striking Stókka with it, melting circuitry and servos, and ripping the metal from his skeleton.
I will do no such thing. I do as I please,
he shouted, lashing out again and whipping tendrils of searing heat at Stókka, chipping away at metal and bone. Stókka cried out in pain, overwhelmed by the Titan's strength. But it was in this pain he remembered who he was. With all his spirit and might, Stókka dug his hands into the flowing lava, melting the metal from his form. He began to focus, forming structure in his mind, as chains formed from the metal of his body and other endo buried in the moon shot up from the searing pools. Foolish Titan, I am Stokka, great smith for the ravens, and you will light our forge for 1,000,000 years. He cried out, whipping the chains at Firkald and constricting it like a great snake. The Titan burst forth from the chains, breaking them with ease, but he forgot one crucial thing. Stokka was the great smith. He could form any metal. Stokka drew more and more metal from the ground, producing more and more chains around the great Titan, and with each one he broke, 2 more appeared. The Titan was trapped and could not escape. But Stokka's quest was not over yet. He began to pull the Titan, moon and all, towards Lokven, feeling the bite and pain of Firkald whipping at his back and ripping the metal from it. Stokka took his final journey across the Sea of Stars, making his last steps across the cosmos, while Firkald slowly and painfully melted the metal from his core, until finally he reached Lokven. Below him, the last of the embers of order flickered and began to die, and Stokka, making the ultimate sacrifice, threw what was left of himself and the chained Titan into the hearth. The two sunk down in a dance of molten metal and hate, with more and more chains constricting Firkald as the last of Stokka's body was whisked away. Fire and light burst from the hearth with the brilliance of 1,000 stars, igniting the forges of Lokven, singeing the great walls of Mistgall, and restarting the beating heart of order. The dead god rose from their slumber, grasping onto its hammer, and began to steadily pound the forge. With each strike of the hammer, metal rose and wove with metal, climbing high up towards the sky. The structure continued to climb upwards, taller than the tallest towers, gilded with precious metals shimmering as bright as the brightest stars. Hundreds of branches began to form from the tower, spreading outwards, seeking the touch of the cosmos. With the last pound of the hammer, Order sat back and marveled at its creation, shedding a tear for what was lost, but also what was gained. They knew Stokka could not be removed from the forge, lest Firkald came with them. And one day, Order knew the great Titan would break their bonds and unleash hell. It's been hundreds of years now. Mistgall is all but memories, but the tower still remains today, pointing towards Eos, where Firkald used to sit. Ravenborn Endo occasionally make pilgrimages to the great site, offering gifts on its branches in order to keep Stokka fighting against the great Titan. For they know that one day, Firkald will surely escape, and Order and all its creations would turn to ash.
What's up, guys? Solar Polar Bear here, and I'm gonna just ramble while these credits go by real quick, and then you guys are gonna watch a black screen because I don't feel like putting on my video. I'm barely dressed, and I've been doing voice tracks for probably about 12 hours. I appreciate all your guys' positive input. I don't know how to fucking animate, and I barely know how to do art, so this is like a completely new thing to me, and I'm trying to find my art style, and I think I found it, but I'm still learning. So the next video I might come out with will be something completely different. We're not sure, but I definitely want to continue, going down this track of our lore and kind of expanding the universe within Starbase and for Ravenborn. This has been a solo project for me. So I appreciate everyone's patience with me taking a fucking week to come out with this. I wish it would go faster, but I hand draw everything and it's a pain in the fucking ass. I also don't know color theory, so this was like a completely new thing for me. And I had to learn a lot about how to, draw like fake ass stained glass and shit. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate your love and support, and I really want to make an episode 3. So if you guys have any weird ass shit you want to like fucking throw in there, like explanations for stuff that happened in Starbase, or some weird lore that you want to add to Ravenborn's pantheon, throw it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share my video. Anyways, guys, take care. I love you all. Peace.